Insights are bold, and the vibe is straight fire. I'm your host, Lamont Fergson, comedian, culture critic, and your new best friend for everything entertainment, from blockbuster movies to local community moves and comedy that cuts deep but keeps it cool. With Ferg is diving head first into the stories that matter and the ones that make you laugh till it hurts. Only on R-SKST Radio Network, powered by R-SKST Radio and street grind entertainment, where the rhythm meets the real. Let's talk out.
Yo, what's going on? This is your boy, Lamont Fergson. Welcome to Talking Out the Box podcast. It's been great. It's been a great week since I seen y'all, since last week. Our first show of the year was banging. We had Councilman Green here in the studio talking about Michelle A. It's going to be here February 2nd. We're going to talk about that later. But I'd like to thank y'all for tuning in to Talking Out the Box podcast. We got a great show for y'all. It's so much to talk about today. There's a lot of things to talk about today. Right now, we're live on TikTok. I'm probably about to switch. I'm about to actually do something different. I've never done this before, so we're gonna just switch this thing. We're gonna switch it. We're gonna switch it over to Facebook Live, because that's where all my folks at. That's where all my folks at. But y'all doing good out there. Look at this. I'm about to hit line. Somebody inboxed me real quick. They was just like, where you going, Ferg? Where you going? All right, so I'm about to hit that live button. There you go. 1, 2, boom. We Facebook Live now. Look at that. That's just real quick. Look. Just that fast. Technology is something else. Now my folks can see me right here on Facebook. Maybe next week we'll do TikTok Live. I don't know. You understand? I don't know if I want to do TikTok Live, but hey, listen. I might just do TikTok Live. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the show. I'm just excited to launch season 2 of Talking Out the Box podcast. If I had some hand claps or something, I would do that right now. But this is season 2 of Talking Out the Box pod. There you have it. There's some clap. There was some fast clap. They were like, so that's the spray can. That was the spray can clap. But that was the claps. Give it up to the engineer, Cammy, and Art. I'm not sure who did that. yes, y'all. So number 1, be great on purpose. Be great on purpose. You got to be great on purpose. You know why? Because a lot of people do things that's let me see. People do things and they become great on accident. If you follow what I'm saying, let me see. I'm trying to get some more engagement here. If you follow what I'm saying, be great on purpose, because there's a lot of, I'm just kind of messing with something real quick here. I think I got a lot more engagement via TikTok, so I guess you guys were right, because that was just popping up. Welcome y'all on TikTok. It's Talking Out the Box podcast. I am your host. I'm not the hostess with the mostest. I'm just the host. Okay. But we're talking about being great on purpose, because a lot of times people accidentally find things. I accidentally find out that, guess what? Hey, I am great at this. But everything has to be intentional. And if you're intentional, things become even greater. So be intentional about what you're doing, whether it's being a plumber, a groundskeeper, a zookeeper, an entertainer, a model, or a job maker. I don't know, but just be great on purpose, and then everything gonna be all right. Let's go to my next point. Everybody always complain about their Wi-Fi. Everybody always say, you know what? My Wi-Fi is not working right because of the weather. The storm is coming and it's knocking out my Wi-Fi. Stay connected to God, and your Wi-Fi connection will never, ever, ever be shaky. You get what I'm saying? And my other one, got another point that I gotta open up with. Let your faith be bigger than you. Let your faith be bigger than you. Meaning, I always have to reference certain things. Meaning, like when you are praying for that job, I pray that I get that job, or I pray that I get that man, or I pray that that girl will be mine, or whatever your prayer is, whatever you're praying for. Make sure your faith is bigger than you, because that means once you pray about it, you got to have enough faith and not follow that prayer up with I hope. A lot of people follow up things. I hope I could get that job, but you just told me that you prayed for it. No, yeah, I did, but I now I hope. Then you not letting your faith be bigger than you. Have you prayed for that job? Then yeah, let it alone. Let the prayer float. Let the prayer alone and let it float and let it do what it do. But if you pray about something and then all of a sudden you say, "Oh, you know what? I hope I get it," and then you're not letting your faith be bigger than you. And moving forward from the time you made your let's say your New Year's resolution. You say, well, this year I'm gonna lose weight. This year I'm gonna save more money. This year I'm gonna find my husband. This year I'm gonna find my wife. Moving forward, I want you to understand this. You can set a New Year's resolution. Moving forward, you set that resolution and make sure it happens moving forward. Meaning, each step that you move forward on that goal that you set, what are you doing moving forward? Are you actually going to the gym moving forward? Or are you actually kind of on the dating scene moving forward? See, a lot of people, they set these goals, but they don't move forward with the goal. You said your goal this year is to get a new job. But as the year move forward, you don't apply for another job. You don't look for another job. You don't ask somebody about another job. Moving forward, you're not moving forward. You're not making forward progress. Or if you say, I'm going to go and lose weight. Moving forward throughout the year, you don't even go to the gym. You don't do not one push up. You don't do not one sit up. You don't eat right. You don't get no salad. At the end of the year, you still at the same weight class. We're going to say the same weight class. Because you're not moving forward what you set up. So you got to set your goal and then move forward on that goal. Let's go ahead move to my next point. Let me see what we got online here. What's up, Lovey? Yeah, we went to school. I went to school with her. We went Cooley High School in Detroit, y'all. That's right, Cooley High. And our motto was, I think ours was best. The best. COOLEY, Cooley High. She gonna respond like, oh shoot, what up though? That's what up though to all my family and friends that's out there in Detroit. So we got a nice topic to talk about. So recently, I love comedy because I do stand-up comedy. I've always loved sketches and skits and all that stuff. Pretty much been all my life. I've always loved comedy. And sometimes people, when it comes down to doing comedy, sometimes people don't understand that doing comedy, we are the commentators for the public, for people who cannot talk about the subject. All right. So whatever the subject is, it may be an edgy comedy sketch, or edgy stand-up comedian, whether it's a female or male. So we are the commentators. As a comedian myself, I am the commentator for those who cannot or afraid to say certain things, because like I could crack a joke or make a do a bit or whatever, and somebody might laugh, but that person that laughed probably won't say that same thing or respond that same way if their boss was watching, or if they might not like I've done shows where people, I may make a, I'll do a bit, and sometimes a person will laugh, then they look at the person who else is laughing. I've done shows at church, if and I got jokes that take you to the edge. I take not bad, but they're kind of but they'll take you to the edge. But it's all about the presentation. It's all about your delivery. Now, if you come off real snarky and not caring how people feel and all this other stuff, and you just kind of degrade people, that's not comedy, man. That's not comedy. But the formula actually to comedy, and I learned this, God rest his soul, from Fat Doctor. He was one of my mentors, and he lived in DC. He actually was a mentor for Mark Lawrence, Dave Chappelle, Tony Woods, all these guys out in that DC area. Very, very great guy. But his thing he taught me was simplification plus exaggeration equals comedy. And with that being said, and I'm just going to lead me into what I'm going to be talking about. If you take a banana peel and a person walk and slip on the banana and fall and it actually hurts itself, that's not comedy. But if he slip on a banana peel and bump into a trash can, and while he's bumping into the trash can, then a car come past and splash him with water. All that stuff exaggerated equals comedy. Leads me into this. Drewski and the pastors. This is a very interesting subject. If y'all want to chime in and say what y'all want to say on TikTok, what's up, L? Then just let me know, because I'm gonna be giving some of y'all feedback too. But so the exaggerated part about what Drewski was doing was some of the over top stuff. He was floating in the air, right? But it actually wasn't exactly exaggeration, because there was actually a pastor that was floating in the air. He was called a floating pastor. Then he did the whole thing about the red bottom Louis Vuitton shoes, and he had the Dior jacket and all that other stuff. That wasn't exaggeration. This is where I'm gonna get. It's kind of funky. Like, comedy is kind of funky, because see, with what he was doing, a lot of stuff that Drewski. Okay, let me do this. A lot of stuff that Drewski has done in the past was way over the top, which made him very funny. All the exaggerated stuff, right? But when this particular thing about him doing the parody of the, people say mockery, it's a parody of the churches. Now, and what that parody did was he took the events and start talking about them. And the exaggeration part at the end, was it exaggerated? Because after he did all these other things, we're going to talk about those things too. He was counting up money. Right? And the very last scene in his video, he it actually cut to the scene where he was in his car. And he's in his car, and a parishioner or a church member or a church goer, however you say it, he came up to the car and was like, he asked the pastor, would you pray for him or something like that? And then he then said, then he said to the guy, did you pay your tithes? The guy said no. He cussed at him and then spit on him and then drove away. Now that part right there, I'm quite sure no pastor has done that, but one pastor kind of did something like that, but not like that. But then he proceeded to drive off and he cussed the guy out. That part to me was way over the top, way exaggerated, and certain things I think that could be blasphemous, and that part to me personally, this is my view, that part right there, he could have left that out. But everything else that he did, it was actually images in what these other pastors were doing in their church. One of them, Pastor Todd, he was a model and he loves his clothes and his jewelry, and he likes his hair braided, he likes to look prissy. I shouldn't say prissy, that's not the right word. He dainty, or I shouldn't say dainty, that's not the right word. Yeah, that he looks, very special. We gonna say that. We gonna keep it PG. And so what Drewski did was did a scene like he was this particular pastor. Now, and then the flying pastor, he did that scene. And then he did the other scene where he was laying down counting the money and all that stuff. And I think my take on this whole situation is I posted about it. And, got some decent comments and stuff like that. People say, yeah, this is comedy. Some people say, it's not really that funny or whatever. But there are churches that give the material for the comedians to talk about. There are things, not just churches, political things that are going on, but these are things that's happening in mega churches. You had one guy, I'm not going to say his name. He had a clip last year that was pretty popular. I think it was an old clip, but it came back up. And he was saying, shut the doors. Where are you going? Shut the doors. He asked for money, and he told his guys on staff at the church to shut the doors because he was asking for money. So when there are things out there like this, as a comedian, we look at stuff like, oh man, that's wow, that's unfortunate that's happening in that church, but that actually could be a funny skit. So then you had so many people taking that one scenario and doing that simplification plus exaggeration equals comedy. They was taking that formula and doing their own sketches, getting hundreds of thousands of views. A lot of people say that Drewski crossed the line. I don't think, only part I think he crossed the line was when he did a little part at the end when he cussed the dude out and he spit on him. All that's crazy. Now, we spit or spat, whatever you want to say. But the part about the spit, there was a pastor that did some type of analogy and had somebody come up from the audience, and I don't remember if it was the audience or it was somebody on the staff. He had exchanged slobber into that man's mouth. This is at a church with hundreds of, I would say thousands of followers. But then folk turn around and point the finger at this comedian saying, hey, you went over the edge. You doing too much. You should not be talking about the church like that. Who's wrong here? Who's wrong here? Is it the comedian that's making fun of these situations, or is it the pastor that has a position of authority or whatever. He has a place where people look up to him in a way of worship. They follow this pastor. So they feel like this guy, he knows the word and I want to follow him. So it's kind of contradictory, because if everybody coming down on this guy because he did a sketch or whatnot, what's up, and everybody's coming down on him for these things, the church is actually giving him material to talk about. The church is giving other comedians stuff to talk about. Content is the word we use nowadays. Content. The church is providing content for people to talk about. And when people talk about it, then the church began to condemn that person. It's like the what they call it's called the glass house. You throw a stone, you're throwing stones at somebody else, but you got your own glass house. So my word for if Drewski's ever listened to this show, I would say, bro, continue to do what you do, because no matter what you do moving forward, people gonna pick at. So we got to understand that this is comedy. It's comedy. It's all right if, let's say, Drewski did a whole thing where he painted his body look like a white man. You know what I'm saying? It's okay for people to talk about politicians, and I'm not a fan of Trump, not at all. That's me personally. I'm not a fan of that principle of the United States of America. I am not. That is me personally. We're in America. You vote for who you want to vote for, and you get the results of that person, no matter who they are, Democrat, Republican, Independent, whatever. But the comedian or the person that's doing sketches can talk about all those other worlds out there. Y'all can do that. Oh, you can talk about the president. If it was Barack, talk about Barack, Michelle. Oh, it was so many bad things said about Michelle. Firstly, all that. You can do that. You can talk about Melania. Or you can talk about what's the president's, Melania, whatever her name is. But you can talk about that. You can do that. We can do that. Go ahead. Make fun of the man voice, the president's voice. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. But don't you talk about the church now. This is what people doing. Don't you talk about the church. Yeah, he did that. Yeah, he did. He do got Louis Vuitton shoes. Yeah, and his hair is slicked back. Oh, yeah, that's an expensive outfit that he got on. But we can't talk about that. Because the way I look at it is, when a person is seeking a spiritual assistance and they're broken, and they already know that the stereotype of pastors, the reason why they don't go to church is because it's money. They don't got money. They don't got the fancy clothes, because some churches look at you if you come in jeans and a t-shirt. Oh, what's wrong with him? He ain't got the right clothes on to be in church. What are we talking about here? Are we supposed to be feeding these people spiritually, or seeing what they got on their clothes, see what they're wearing, their wardrobe, or seeing what they got in their bank account? Because there are a lot of churches that are like that. But these churches can do these things to their parishioners or to their congregation, churchgoers, whatever. But the minute the comedian talk about it, there are Christian comedians. Yes. And they talk about the basic stuff that go on in church, the safe things that go on in church. That's why they're able to make money and do tours and stuff like that because they could talk about safe things in church. There's only a handful of people that I know personally when they talk about stuff in church. They don't. They don't. My homie. Shout out to Cletus Cassidy. Cletus is a very funny. I've known him for several years. Very funny dude. Very funny. And when I say he take you to the edge in your sanctuary, he does that. And he's good at it. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of other people can't do that. Because it's like the church only letting certain people. And Cletus broke the mold, but I'm telling you that he's on fire. He's a dope dude. You can catch him on. This is a plug for you, bro. You can catch him on BET with Churchy with I can't think of his name. Yeah, I know him. Yeah, I know. But yeah, he's on BET on the show Churchy. But he is one of the few comedians that I've heard personally that will speak his mind or will say certain things or will challenge the church audience to think about what they're doing and saying. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was my soapbox. Big up to y'all out there watching on the TikTok. I definitely appreciate Pastor K, Podcaster KD. What's up, man? Appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, man. This is. I just think it's a. I think we live in an interesting world right now when it comes to content and what's accepted and what's not accepted. Because if you think about it, then I got to move on to the next topic. If you think about it, a lot of things nowadays, well, back in the day, like if you watch Sanford and Son, All in the Family, Good Times, all those shows back then, they would say stuff and you were like, wow, you said that on TV? They would say some stuff. They, you know, for the people that don't know those shows, go YouTube it. Go to YouTube University and look up All in the Family, look up the Jeffersons, look up Sanford and Son, all those shows back then, the Jeffersons, they all said stuff that was way ahead of their time. They would say something they said on those shows, man, if you said that on a show today, if it's not on a streaming platform, let's get that clear. On a streaming platform, people could say whatever they want to because it's streaming. You got rated R, you got this, you got NC-17, you got that PG-13. But on TV, I'm talking about on regular TV, they said some stuff. Nowadays, if you say certain things, they like, oh man, that's a buzzword. You can't say that, that's a buzzword. You can't, oh, don't say that word, that's a buzzword. You get what I'm saying? Okay, let's go ahead and move forward. But yeah, but like I said, personally, what man, my mind going blank. I had homeboys. I was gonna say something else, but I forgot. But yeah, so moving forward, man, we just got to embrace the culture, embrace the content creators. Oh, live, Kev. That's who Cletus is with, Kev. So, yeah, check the show out. BET is on BET. It's called Churchy. I believe they got a season 2. Yeah, yeah, shout out. Yeah, that's my homie. But yeah, we just gotta embrace this new, embrace it, because if we don't, then it's kind of ruined. That it goes into that freedom of speech thing. That thing right there gets real sticky. So we're gonna leave that alone for right now. Let's go ahead and move forward. We're gonna talk about our principal of the United States. He visited. Okay, yep, right. You see how we did that? We didn't put nothing else extra in there. Then you can take that out now. So that I just gave you a brief synopsis of what I'm about to talk about. So, excuse me. The principal of the United States went to visit the Ford plant in my hometown. You know what I'm saying? Actually, it's in Dearborn, but Dearborn is a suburb of Detroit. You know, y'all know what I'm talking about. But the Ford plant, we actually went to visit that Ford plant. My kids did too. And so while the principal of the United States is walking around the plant, looking at the F-150 and seeing what they're doing, a worker yelled to the security guard, or excuse me, the president's detail. It's not a security guard. The security guard is at CVS. The presidential detail. The guy yelled to the presidential detail, "You PDF, pedophile." Well, I'm saying protector. That's what he said. Pedophile protector. He didn't say anything directly to that principal of the United States. The principal of the United States then turned around, flipped him the bird, read between the lines, flipped him the bird, and said F you to that worker. And then the worker gets fired. How? How does that happen? And what world do we live in? What world are we living in? What country are we living in where the president flips off the worker and then the worker gets fired? What? This is the guy that's sitting in the highest seat in the land. He gets, and the worker gets fired. What? How does that happen? Because the principal of the United States can do what he wants to do, and he can do whatever he wants, no matter what what happens, no matter what. Like, how does that do? That man lost his income because he made a statement. He didn't try to I'm not saying anybody should. I'm saying this guy didn't try to hurt or harm the principal of the United States. He said a few words to the security detail. It's in turn, the principal of the United States got offended, flipped him the bird, and said F you. If that was a President Obama, or as y'all said, Sleepy Joe, if he would have did that, oh my goodness, heads would have rolled. Heads would have rolled if he would have did that. That's highly unacceptable. I don't know what we have to do. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me go back. I know what we have to do. And I'm not talking about any hurt or harm. We need to get out and vote. Midterms. Now, of course, this is his second term. But however, you get out and vote for midterms. Moving forward, so people will understand, midterms are very important because that helps the whole process. Get out and vote. Vote for who you really want. That whole, situation, that's a whole nother show. And I'm already at 7:37. I gotta be out here about 8 o'clock. But here it is. If we can, and I don't care who you are, whether Democrat, Republican, or Independent, if we can get rid of the Electoral College and just go by popular vote, we will actually get people who we want to run the country. But as of right now, you can vote, and the popular vote could be for whoever, your favorite independent person, or your favorite Republican, or your favorite Democrat. But if the electoral college, if they don't get those electoral votes, then they don't win. So if your favorite Republican, your favorite Democrat, or your favorite independent wins the popular vote, but don't get those electoral votes, then they not in. That's it. We gotta fix that. I know it's been some years since we had that. We gotta fix that. All right, move forward. But yeah, we gotta be careful of what's going on, and I'm not gonna even talk about ICE because that's a whole nother. And they were supposed to be here to protect us for immigration, but it's a whole bunch of other stuff that's not even supposed to be happening. That's not even supposed to be going down. Like we're a third world country. It's like a civil war going on because you got cities that don't want ICE in there because ICE is causing terrible, making bad decisions, causing turmoil in neighborhoods that does not look like them. So we could talk about that next time. But it rest in peace to all those who were unalived by the ICE agents, and I'm gonna just leave it like that. Next, we're gonna talk about football. We're gonna dive into the football game right now. We're gonna talk about NFL. So there's something major. Tomlin is out after 7 straight playoff losses. Wow, Tomlin. I did not realize that it's been that many years. That I always thought like they was always deep into the playoffs for some reason, but they always in the mix. But I didn't realize that for 7 straight years they lost in the first round. Now, there's no shade against Tomlin. He's a talented dude right out of Newport News, Virginia. You got to give that dude his credit. You got to clap it up for him. Clap it up. Where's my sound? You got to clap it up for Tomlin. Tomlin has been in place for a very... there it is, Tomlin. Oh, wait. Well, I'm going to put this down. Tomlin has been in place for a long time, and he has made some power moves with the Steelers. Steelers haven't had many coaches though, and if you look at the history of the Steelers, they don't change coaches very often. But for him, I like the fact that they allowed the man, and they probably worked this out a while ago because they were having some issues this year. I mean, they put Aaron Rodgers. He's 42 years old. I still could play better than him. Anyway, he's 42 years old, trying to get to the Super Bowl. These young boys out here, they out here moving and shaking and knocking heads off, knocking helmets off. You're not going to go to the play. I knew that. I knew the fact that when they say they about to play the Texans, they not beating the Texans. They did us dirty. He even had his eyes. I'm a Lions fan because I'm from Detroit. I'm a Lions fan. But they did him dirty. They did us dirty, and they gave them the game. The next game, he slid. They was making into at the end of each game. They would slide by. They slid right on into the playoffs, by the skin of their teeth. I mean, if you got skin on your teeth, that's nasty. You shouldn't have skin on your teeth. But I don't know where that saying came from. Skin of your teeth, making nasty. But he barely made it in there into the playoffs. But however, I'm glad he was able to step down and save face, because getting fired, that would have been kind of harsh. I mean, they did that to Harbaugh with the Ravens. They did him dirty. They was like, bro, you got to go. And they fired him. He was driving to work like, yo, I'm just gonna let them know I'm gonna step down because it's not working out between me and Lamar Jackson. We just not working. It's not working. He got his head together. He's about to turn in the letter, and they would open the door, and it was like, "You fired." Like, wait a minute, I was gonna turn in my letter, but he got fired. He got the X. It was, and actually, 7 of the 8 it was like 8 head coaches they got fired. Like, you got the Ravens and 3 in one division. You got the Ravens lost their coach, you got Cleveland lost their coach, you got the Steelers lost their coach, but the Bengals kept theirs. Go figure. They might as well have just did a clean sweep of that division. You know what I'm saying? And my squad, Detroit, we are looking for an OC, and my favorite is Mike McDonald. That's my favorite. And look, Tomlin, you could come and be the defensive coordinator, and that'll be, it'll be like Mike McDonald and Mike Tomlin, Mike and Mike, not Ike and Mike, but Mike and Mike. Like, you get what I'm saying? But I have a question, like, that candy, the Mike and Ikes, and they got the different colors. Which colors belong to Ike and what colors belong to Mike? Like, it's the red ones, the green ones, all those Mike's flavors, and the yellow and the other ones is Ike. I'm just curious. But yeah, that was a big turn. Let's go on to the entertainment. What's going on around here in entertainment? Midweek comedy relief next Wednesday is going down at the FFX Family Theater. There it is, right there. Midweek comedy relief is going down. It's going down. Team Ferg gonna be there. Katash gonna be there. We doing it big, and then the headliner, Mr. Body, gonna be there, and we're gonna have a good time right there at the FFX Theater, right there on Virginia Beach on Atlantic Avenue. And the food is good. And on top of that, it's going to happen next Wednesday. And next Wednesday is January 21st. And January 21st falls in the middle of the week. That makes it the midweek comedy relief. And on top of that, it is restaurant week. And they have one of the best restaurants there in that place, Moe's Barbecue. And when I say the barbecue was good, when I say a Philly, I had a Philly, a chicken Philly cheesesteak. They call it a chicken Philly, and it's really good. The baked beans, smacking. What's that old saying? Make it so good. Well, slap your mama. Yeah, but ain't nobody gonna slap my mama. I'm sorry, I had to get serious right there. Y'all like, what happened? Did he freeze? Ain't nobody slap my mama. And then the next thing we got going on right there in that same place, not on the same day, but this coming Sunday, we got Keishara Bailey's. That's my homegirl. The Freedom album release is gonna be on January 18th. That's my homegirl. She your homegirl too. She could sing her tail off. She was in my last show, Until Death Do Us Part. Did an amazing job. And she's also in a play that we're working on right now called Find My Way Back. Doing an amazing job. And then she got an album release coming up this week. Gotta be there. You gotta be there. If you ain't there, you a square. Remember that, y'all? Remember out there, you a square. You a square. Another thing that I'm a part of is the Virginia Black Film Festival. That's coming up February 19th through the 22nd in Williamsburg. Brian Thompson has been running this festival for the last 3. This is third year or 2, 3. Yeah, this is the third year, and I've been a part of it. I'm on the board. And it's a fantastic thing, and it's growing and growing and growing, getting bigger and bigger each year. More and more fantastic things are popping. You got workshops with Bam Bam. You got guest speakers. You got feature films. You got short films. Oh man, it's so much going on at this film festival. And there's 5 projects that I'm in. No, excuse me. 4 of 5 projects that I shared. I'm in, and I'm in Church Folk. I'm in the Blood of Saltville. I'm in the Countdown to Love, and I'm in Snooze You Lose. That's 4 or 5 projects. That other people that I know that got projects in there, and I'm acting in there. I'm one of them. I am a best friend. One of them, I'm a husband that's unaware of what my wife is about. The next one, I'm let me see. The next one, I'm a husband of a troubled that I have a troubled marriage going on. But you gotta come out and see it. It's gonna be a fantastic evening. Excuse me, a fantastic weekend because it's 3 days. So make sure you get your tickets. Go online to Virginia blackfilmfestival.com to get your tickets, and then Find My Way Back. It's a play that I was talking about, and the shout out to the cast. It's a small but mighty cast. You like I say, you got Keishara Bailey's in there. You got Starina, she's in there. You got Gina Blunt, Gina Patton. You got Aaron Smith, Ahmad Clemens, and you got Tony Brett. Tight cast, and they are doing their thing. They're doing their thing. So stay tuned to the date that was gonna come out, and they're gonna be right here. I'm gonna have my guests. They're gonna be the cast gonna be a part of the show, and you're gonna be able to get some. You got some of that because Tony and Keishara was in the last place, so they was here and they was cutting up. So, Find My Way Back. And before I go, Ferg 5. I got to do my movie review. I got. The movie review for this week is Him. I watched Him. Did it get to Ferg 5? Let's talk about it. Him, Marlon did a great job as lead actor, right? A co-star rather, because the other guy was actually leading me, but it was okay. It dealt with football. I'm a football fan, and it was okay. I mean, like certain scenes, I don't know. I didn't really. I mean, it was okay. I mean, some people say it was fantastic. It was meh at the least. At the best, it was meh. It was at MEH. Meh. It was meh. Yeah, it was okay. And before I forget, because we're about to run out of time, Miss Shelley is coming. Miss Shelley is coming to the Hampton Roads. Miss Shelley is coming to Virginia Beach. Poolside, cooking. We had Cash here last week, Cash Green, and Tiffany. We was chopping it up, and we was talking about this event. It's going down February 7th. Remember something? So I don't know how. I know the words, because you know how when you know the words, but when you sing them out loud, you don't know the words, and then you've been singing them wrong words the whole time. Like this song been out years, and then people will be like something in my, and you can't sing it. I could give a whole concert in my car, in my shower, around the house, not around other people. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of singer I am. So if you try to get me put on, you want me to sing you a song, I gotta be in the shower. And you can't be in the shower with me. I ain't going down like that. You know, I dress up when I go to the when I take a shower. I dress up, right? I wear my birthday suit when I go to the shower, and I'm like nobody mess with my fly gear. You get what I'm saying? No, but yeah. So that's gonna be going down this week. I mean, excuse me, February 7th, right there on Holland Road, man. It's been great talking to y'all today. You know, we was kind of weaving and talking about different things. But like I said, please allow these comedians, I said these like I'm not one. We are the commentators of what people want to say. Yes, some things can be, but at the same time, do you realize it is all art? It's art. And when you go to a museum, when you're looking at a painting, it's not. You look at it like, oh, that's. When you're looking at a painting, it is your view on what you see in that painting. It's art. It is art. You don't go in there knocking that particular painting like, oh, it's horrible. Ain't enough blues or ain't enough blacks. It's not splashing enough. It's art. Comedy is an art form. And it takes a lot to get out there, to put yourself out there, to try stuff, to go outside of the box. There you go, talking outside of the box. It takes a lot to go outside of the box to perform a piece that you know that if I do this piece, people gonna go crazy. They gonna crash out. The church people crashing out right now. And there's a difference between church people, church goers, and church folk. Church folk, I'm in that. Church folk, man, y'all not ready. Church, and then I meant to tell y'all also. I gotta go back. I'm sorry. You know, so when we was talking about the film festival, so Ernest Smith, Mark Gallant. So Ernest Smith had 4 projects that's in this in the film festival, and then he's a part of Snooze You Lose, Church Folk, Town of the Ghosts, and Countdown to Love. He was the DP on all of those. And then Pearson, James, and Gordy, they did Saltville. I'm just kind of stuttering because I'm trying to rush. So I didn't shout those individuals out. Shout out to all the Terica, she wrote Countdown to Love. She did her thing with it. I'm telling you, she got some fire coming out. And what I say last week, 2026 is going to be sick, and I ain't talking about an illness, baby. That is my time. You guys have a great night. Be safe out there, and don't forget all those events we talked about. Tell your people about them, and come on out. Y'all have a great night. God bless. Peace.
Film Productions presents a romantic comedy.
Christina told me that her boyfriend has a cousin named Tracy, right?
Lisa, Anthony.
Tracy is a model. She's a very attractive model.
Well, I'm so sorry. I got a lot going on, okay? I got to get these contracts submitted by this weekend.
Alicia.
But you need to enjoy your life. You act like you're 70.
Tasha.
Is anybody jumping in your DMs?
Terrence.
So I decided to come by and bring you something special.
Wow. You remembered. How thoughtful.
Oh, I like what I see here, Mr. Anthony.
Oh, well, I'm glad to hear that, but call me Anthony.
Okay. Anthony.
I know. We've had such a good conversation, haven't we?
Tracy. Really? Quincy.
Oh. So right now, I mean, I'm kind of like in between jobs, Between jobs,
My name is Anthony, by the way.
Alicia.
Alicia.
Yeah. Nice to meet you. You too.
and not missing the opportunity.
I did meet somebody else at the bar.
Ooh, I'm listening.
You didn't get her number, or? Oh, you ain't sealed the deal. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, black man.
Don't tell me he's married. He got 10, 11 kids.
No, we didn't even exchange numbers.
Oh, but have y'all ever let a woman get away with accident? Oh, nope, not me. Hook up and sick him every time, baby. Don't play.
Are we working with any relatives in the area? Any tall, dark, and handsome? Goes by the name of Anthony, perhaps?
Girl, that's real specific.
And taking chances. Snooze,